Growing up, Thanksgiving was always one of my favorite holidays. I was in charge of the carrot cake or the cheesecake. I loved spending time with my family, but oh my goodness, the food. As I grew older, I began to appreciate the holidays in a different way. I started thinking about the things I was thankful for and how blessed I was to have such a wonderful family. But yeah, the food. And so the question is, how do you navigate this day when you're a diabetic? That's what I'm going to talk about today in this episode. How to navigate Thanksgiving with diabetes. If you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. And here on this channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications, live the life you've always wanted, and go to the next level. This is Diabetes Awareness Month, and this is a special episode on Thanksgiving and diabetes. That's what I'm talking about. The entire month, we have been talking about diabetes in general. And there is a playlist on the YouTube channel called Diabetes 101 Series. Diabetes 101 Series. Every Thanksgiving is diabetes awareness. And the goal is to educate the public, to help everyone to understand they can delay and we can stop the progression to diabetes. But if you're diabetic, you can still live a healthy and a fulfilling life. Thanks for being here. If you're new, go ahead and put a new in the comments. Put that hashtag new. If you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay. Thank you for being here. Go ahead and send this out to somebody. People may be traveling. People are in different places right now, but they can still participate. They can still watch with us. Okay. So thank you once again for being here. And let's hop right into it. So diabetes and Thanksgiving, right? Diabetes and Thanksgiving. So when you think Thanksgiving, most people think about the turkey, right? And your family may do something else, right? You may be a turkey ham family. You may be, if you're from the north, you're doing stuffing. If you're from the south, it's called dressing. You may be cornbread. You may be herbs. Whatever it is, whatever your thing is, then Thanksgiving has a certain thought or certain feel, a certain appeal for you, right? For me, our family got together at my house for the most part, and we would cook. And when I say cook, we would cook. All right. So, you know how sometimes we say, hey, you got one starch and, one protein and some vegetables. That was not my family. No. We had proteins. We had all kinds we had chicken, we had turkey, I'm from the Caribbean. I'm right, West Indies. So we had chicken, we had turkey, we had oxtail, we had curry chicken, we had curry beef, we had goat, we have pepper pot, for those of you who know what that is, right? So and that's just the protein part, right? And then we had rice and different types of rices. We had lasagna and macaroni and cheese and mashed potatoes and potato salad and carrot salad and on and on and on. Okay. And then, of course, we had the desserts. So we had black cake. We had, of course, like I said, I was in charge of the carrot cake, right? That was my thing back in the day. Carrot cake. And then I learned how to make cheesecake, right? So those are my two things. Also, I'm kind of the curry. I make curry. But my dad could throw down on some pepper pot, right? So if you don't know what that is, you can go ahead and you can Google it. And you can see there's some recipes out there. Sometimes I watch that. Whoo, have mercy, right? And that's what we did. We ate. And it was so much fun. And people would come over. And if you're out there, if you're one of my cousins and you watch it, you remember those days, right? And there were so many people in the house. And we just slept everywhere. We just stayed everywhere, right? To this day, like I can lay down on this floor right here and go to sleep. I think the only place I haven't slept in my house, the only floor I haven't slept in my house is probably the floor in the kitchen. But every other surface that's in my house, I've slept on. And my wife will tell you, and my son will tell you, that I can lay down here. I don't need a pillow. I don't need a blanket. Just, I'm gone, done. But that's how we did it. That's how we rolled, right? And just having the people in the house, massive amount of people, and just the food that we had. The table was packed with stuff, and people were bringing stuff. I remember it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. We had a semi reunion / Thanksgiving up in New York, which is where my family is. And so we went up. I think we had like 3 or 4 turkeys. Like, we had turkeys we didn't even cut. We had pans of food that we didn't even touch. We went over to my cousins. But this when was it? Tuesday, Wednesday. Anyway, sometime this week, we had our Thanksgiving lunch in our office, right? We had Thanksgiving meal. And so we went around the room and we talked about Thanksgiving, what we were thankful for. And we talked about memories of Thanksgiving. And as I was telling the story about Thanksgiving, it occurred to me that there are some preferences that I have, and I'm not going to share that with you now. Maybe that'll do that behind the scenes. There's some preferences I have for food that come directly from Thanksgiving. And I had not even thought about that until I was describing Thanksgiving to my team at the office, right? So a lot of what is in our minds, a lot of what we think about when we think about Thanksgiving and the holidays comes from those days where, whatever it was. And other people may think it's weird, but for us, it was normal, right? And that's how we developed. Thanksgiving and the holidays, as we get into not just Thanksgiving, but Christmas is coming up, New Year's coming up, and so forth, and we get into the new year 2023. Whew, wow, can you believe it? As we get into the new year, right, this holiday season can sometimes be an interesting time for a lot of people. Holidays can be tough if you've had a loss, if someone in your family is no longer with you. And as we've gone through the last couple of years, that's happened to a lot of people, right? For COVID is what I'm talking about specifically, but just in general, right? People pass away, and sometimes the holidays, that's when we realize it, because we're used to that person in our space. And so the holidays can be a challenge at times. And when you throw on top of that having diabetes, then it becomes this big deal. And so what I want to do in this episode is just kind of walk through that, okay? Kind of walk through that and talk about how do you navigate Thanksgiving with diabetes. And I want to talk about 3 things. I'll break it down into 3 just very manageable chunks, right? And they are simply this: food, fun, and family. Food, fun, and family, right? Food, fun, and family. And if you kind of follow me, and when we get to the end of the main discussion, then I'll tell you a little bit about what I think, how we do that. So food, fun, and family. Let's talk about food, right? The food. How do you, as a diabetic, navigate the food? Okay. Now there's all kinds of stuff that's on the table. And I'll tell you what I've been telling my patients the last several weeks is this: the stuff that's there, and I want you to hear me, and all don't get mad at me, other people, right? So if you're not diabetic, I'm not talking to you right now. The food that's there, you are allowed to enjoy it. What? You're allowed to enjoy the food. Okay? Let me say that. Let me say it again. You're allowed to enjoy the food. But let's do a couple of things. Maybe before you go to where you're heading for the main meal, eat a light breakfast or lunch. Sometimes what we do is we don't eat anything. It's like, man, I'm going to Thanksgiving and I'm eating everything that I see. I'm boom, 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 right? And so we show up and we are what? We are starving. Oh, we say we're starving. Let's just say we're very hungry. Right? Sometimes people say, oh, I can eat a horse. Yeah. We get there and we walk in and we're ready to go. But to help, right, to prevent that huge, okay, let me just crash the table, eat a light breakfast or lunch. The thing about food and how we respond to food is this. If you are hungry, if you're hungry, then you don't have as much control over what you eat as if you're not hungry. That makes sense, right? Yeah. So that means that if it's a choice between showing up somewhere hungry where the hunger takes over, or eating something so I'm not as hungry, so when I get there, I am thinking, then let's do the latter. Right? Let's eat something light, and you don't have to stuff, fill your stomach so you can't eat anything when you get there, because you're going to eat. But eat a light breakfast or lunch. Drink plenty of water. Drink plenty of water. What does water do? It does a couple of things. One, it fills your stomach. Woo! Right? Water helps you to stay hydrated. And when you're hydrated, let me back up. Let me talk about it the other way. If you're dehydrated, then your body can sense that as hunger. When it's really not hunger, it's just that you are dehydrated. So drink plenty of water. And then eat more protein and fiber. So as you get to where you're going, it's going to be so tempting to get to the table with all the stuff all the sweets, right? But try to eat more protein, right? If you're a turkey person, have the turkey. If they've got chicken, put some of that on. And you see, I don't have my plate with me. I probably is in the car. Right. So we have a plate that we show people in the office. I wasn't planning to show you that tonight, but if you're walking by, right, if I'm sitting down and you're walking by me and your plate is piled yay high, yeah, that's probably too much stuff on there. Okay. All right. Don't not a skyscraper plate. Right. Have a sampling of the stuff. Okay. So eat a light breakfast or lunch, drink plenty of water, eat more protein and fiber. Okay. Fiber is a very important one, right? Because that also fills you up, right? Without causing big spikes in your sugar. Right. That's the food. Make sense? All right. And let me say again, you are allowed to eat food. You're allowed to enjoy the stuff that's there. What I don't want to do, and what I see sometimes happens, is that the person who's diabetic, it's almost like they're sitting in a corner somewhere biting on a piece of rock and some celery, right? And they kind of ostracize themselves, right? And everybody know, that's that weird person over there, right? That's not what I want. I don't want that for you. I want you to be involved with everybody. I want you to be involved because that's part, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. That's part of why we're there. So enjoy it. But just understand that you can do some things prior to and while you're there to help minimize those cravings, right? Because cravings are the enemy of blood sugar and weight and all the things we talk about. Cravings and hunger. So one of the things I ask my patients when we talk about what they're eating is, are you hungry? When you get up from the table, are you still hungry? Because if you're still hungry, that night, your diet, whatever you're supposed to be doing, is shot because the hunger is going to take over. Okay, so remember that. All right, so that's the food. That's the food part. How about the fun? The fun part, right? And fun has to do with more than just, am I ha, and right? That is true, right? Because some families, they go and they play football, they play basketball, they play tennis, they play whatever, right? Did I say baseball already? So those things they do as a family, right? So enjoy the fun. But here's some other things. Fun also has to do with getting enough rest, getting enough sleep. Do you know that if you don't sleep well, if you're not rested, that you eat more than you would if you had enough sleep? Yep. And you know that. Sometimes you're up late at night, like I am right now. And I'm not eating, by the way. I slept actually before I did this, right? I usually take a quick nap, right? So I get all this energy. That's right. You guys are seeing that, I hope so, hopefully. You're like, oh man, what's going on with him? And of course, yeah, let me do this. I got the shine on my head. You turn off that. There you go. Oh, there we go. Awesome. That's right. My big light was on. So get enough rest. Sleep. And I know, yeah, it's sometimes difficult in the midst of all this, right? Because right now, as I'm talking to you, you might be up making that turkey, or you got the smoker going, or you've got something in the oven or whatever, right? But try to get as much rest as possible, because that will help you the next day. So your cortisol levels will be down, be lower than if you didn't get enough sleep. Okay? Minimize the stress. Let me talk about this one. I don't know what your family traditions are. I don't know what you're responsible for. I don't know on the menu, what did they ask you to bring? And you may have overcommitted yourself. And so right now, even as you're watching this, you're like, oh my God, I still got 5 more things I got to make tonight before tomorrow. Okay. And next year, maybe I'll do this a week before so I can tell you some of these things that I'm telling you now, right? But try to minimize the stress, right? When people ask you to bring things, do what you can. And even now, right now, at this moment, you can be making a decision. Okay, we don't need X. We've already got 10 proteins on the table. We've already got, whatever number of carbohydrate dishes. We've already got all the sweets. We've already got this. And there's that one extra thing that oh man, it would be nice to have that. Maybe you don't need that this year. Right? We're talking about the fun part of this, right? Because sometimes all the stress and the not sleeping takes the fun. It's kind of like when we travel, wherever we go, I tell my wife, I got to have one day where I'm not doing anything. I'm not getting up early. We're not driving anywhere. We're not seeing any attractions. We're not visiting anything. We don't want to see anything in the city where we are. I just want to be able to be in the room, the hotel room, the condo, wherever we are, and do nothing. Because what we tend to do is we rush down to wherever we're going, right? Either we're driving or we're on the plane, and we get up early in the morning and we get on the plane and we get there, right? And we hit the ground running and we're going da-da-da-da-da, right? The whole time. And I come home, I was like, man, I need a vacation. I need a relaxation from the vacation. Right? So minimize the stress. And remember thanks. Remember thanks. Wow. What is this thing called? Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. So remember thanks. There's so much that we can be thankful for. And I don't know your situation. I don't know the stresses that are in your life. I don't know the losses that you've experienced. I don't know any of that. But in everything where you are, if you're listening to me right now and you can hear me and you can understand me or you can see me, that's something to be thankful for. If there are family members that are coming, even the people that get on your nerves, and even the people that you are not talking to, and even the people you're fighting with, man, it's so good to be grateful and thankful that those people are there. One of the persons, several people, but one of the people I think about is my dad, right? And we lost him several years ago. And he made pepper pot, like I said, right? So one of my wife's favorite things. And there's nothing like his pepper pot. And so during these holiday seasons, right, sometimes I think about, okay, man, it'd be nice to have some of that. But there are a lot of other people around, right? There's my mom, there's my brothers, my sisters, my aunts, my cousins, my uncles, right? There's my wife, there's my son. Right. So I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful that they are here. Right. Today I got a chance to go with my son. He plays basketball. And so we got a chance to go to him to watch him work with the coaches and so forth. And I was just sitting there, I was like, man, I am so thankful. Look at this guy. Look at this man. This little used to be a little kid fitting my arm right here, right? And now he's this dude that has his own thoughts and his own personality and his own ideas. I'm just so thankful for him. I'm thankful for my wife. So Thanksgiving. Remember the thanks. And then the family, right? Just was talking about family right there. Focus on the people. So as you're getting ready to go to wherever it is you're going, right? Sometimes the food becomes the main thing. It's like, man, I'm going there. I'm going to eat. I'm going to throw down. Right? But think, not that you're not going to enjoy it, but think about it in a different way. Think about the people. Focus on the people. Who am I going to see there? Who haven't I seen in a while that I'm going to see? How am I going to deepen the relationships that I have? That's a big one. And I'm guilty of this too, right? So we show up and we eat and, you may chit chat and the couple of people that you talk to, and then there's all these other few folks. How do I deepen the relationships that I have? Because if I'm concentrating on that, then the food, even though it's there and it's fun and it's delicious, it's not my focus. And then maybe we start a new tradition. Maybe on Thanksgiving, we play card games, or we play a card game. Pick one and teach everybody. Maybe we play a board game. Let's do that. That's going to be our thing. We're going to play Monopoly. We're going to play Chutes and Ladders. That's an old one. Right? We're going to play spades. We're going to play rook. We're going to play poker. Whatever it is, we're going to play dominoes. We're going to play touch football. We're going to get a game together, get two teams, right? Because there should be enough people. Maybe there is. Then we're going to play some basketball. Whatever it is, start a new tradition so that the focus is not on the food. Right? Food, fun, family. So people, the people. And then the question ultimately is, I'm getting ready to go. I'm a diabetic. And yeah, all that stuff is good, but what do I do? How do I navigate this? And I want you to remember a couple of things. Number one, diabetes is not in charge. You are. No. Right? So diabetes is not in charge of you. Wherever you are in your diabetes journey, you may be newly diagnosed. Like they told you yesterday, or you got your diagnosis today. Or you've been diabetic for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Wherever you are in your journey, the diabetes is not in charge. You may have complications. You may have a lot of things that we talk about for diabetes, but the diabetes is not in charge. You are. So we tell the diabetes what to do. It doesn't tell us what to do. And so we make decisions. I make decisions for my diabetes. That's the first thing. I want you to get that. And this is a process, right? So it's not going to be 100% tomorrow. But this helps you as you move into the rest of your life managing diabetes. So diabetes is not in charge. You are. Number two, when it comes to food, treat what you eat. Woo! Let's say that again. Treat what you eat. I'm going to put that on a slogan, right? Treat on a shirt. Treat what you eat. What does that mean? That means that as we go through the day, we're going to be making choices for food. And you're going to use all the things that we just talked about. Food, fun, and family. Remember that? Food, fun, family. You're going to, all the stuff. You're going to eat breakfast. You're going to eat a light lunch. You're going to focus on the people. You're going to start a new tradition, right? You're going to give thanks. All those things are there, but you're still going to be eating. And sometimes what we do through the day is we graze, right? On other days, we eat breakfast, maybe eat lunch, maybe eat supper, right? But on these days, because there's so much food around, we're just grazing the whole time. When I say grazing, we're eating, right? Like you come in, you pick up, a cookie, and then you have some dressing, and then you have your main meal, and then you go back and you get some, right? And throughout the afternoon, you're watching football and you go grab some stuff and you're eating the whole time. Treat what you eat. And so what do we do for treatment, right? So down there you'll see your toolbox will work if you work it. Your toolbox will work if you work it. And what's in my toolbox? What are the things in my toolbox? Number one, and I know, yeah, you're going to say, oh, yeah, you're going to say that again. Exercise. Yes, exercise. And when I say exercise, I don't mean you got to go to the gym, right? Because you're at the dinner thing. But after dinner, get the folks around, take a walk. Right? Take a stroll. Right? And it doesn't, if everybody doesn't want to go, that's okay. Right? Take a couple of people and you guys just walk around the neighborhood. Treat what you eat. If you know that you've been throwing back cookies and candies and chocolate cake and carrot cake and cheesecake and apple pie and pumpkin pie and peach cobbler and sweet potato pie, right? Now, by the way, what do you do? What is your thing? Yeah, what do we put that in the chat somewhere, right? What is your sweet of choice? Like, are you sweet potato or are you pumpkin? Maybe that's one. Sweet potato or pumpkin? Put that in the chat. Right? Are you sweet potato or pumpkin pie? Because, you know, people like different things. But whatever you're eating, remember, you can walk it off. And you may not be able to walk all of it off, right? Because, I mean, like if you eat sweet potato pie and pumpkin pie and apple pie and carrot cake and cheesecake and dressing and you drink, you know, apple cider and, right? So you're going to do a lot of walking to get all those. But some is better than none. Remember that. Some is better. Well, I eat so much I can't walk it all. Yeah, but any little bit that you do will help. Number 2, water. Water. And I say water again? Water. Right? The more hydrated you are, the lower the blood sugar can be. And it allows your insulin, the insulin that your body's making, or the insulin that you're taking to work better. Let me put a pin here and pause for a second and just explain this, right? Because remember, when you take your insulin, the insulin, and I'm talking for people who are taking insulin, right? They're injecting. Your insulin has to get under the skin, and then it has to be absorbed into the rest of the body. Well, how does it get absorbed? Right? It goes through the capillaries, the little vessels that are there. But what takes the insulin from that spot into the rest of the body? It's the blood. Right? And so if I'm dehydrated, then the blood does not take the insulin efficiently to the rest of the body. And if it doesn't do that, then the insulin can't work. So my blood sugars are higher. Right? If nobody's ever explained that to you, that's how insulin works. So if you're dehydrated, you can put that insulin all you want and it doesn't work as effectively. Okay, so water. And I explain water kind of like, I got a bottle of, right, at this bottle here. And it's kind of like trying to make some lemonade. And I put some sugar into the bottle and I put water. And like right now you see there's a little bit of water there. I don't know if you could see that, right? It's down at the bottom. Well, if I put sugar and lemon juice in here, if I don't put enough sugar, right, then it's pretty sour, pretty sweet. Or if I put too much sugar, not enough water. How do I get it to be not as sweet or not as sour? Well, not as sour, I put more sugar. But not as sweet, I put more water. So the more water I put in, the more diluted it becomes. So think of your body like this bottle. Your blood sugar, like the sugar that's in here for the lemonade. And then the more water I put in, the less sugar I taste. Right? So if you eat a cookie, drink some water. Eat an apple pie, drink some water. If you eat peach cobbler, drink some water. Pumpkin pie, drink water. Sweet potato pie, drink water. Dressing, drink water. Yeah? Pecan pie, drink water. Yeah. So now we got exercise, so you can go walk some of it off. We got water. Portion control. What does that mean? That means that you don't have to eat the entire apple pie, right? Or the whole pan of dressing, right? Take a sampling of stuff. Like what I'm planning to do. Okay, so we're going out for dinner. So what I'm planning to do, I'm gonna have a little bit of everything. Notice I didn't say everything. I said everything. I'm having some of all of it, right? So I got my plan. Portion control. And sometimes we think that, okay, because we put it on our plate, we got to eat it all. So don't put as much. So we got exercise. We got water. We're going to watch the portions. And then medication. Okay? So for medication, let me say, always, 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 when I give information, right, this is not meant to treat your specific case. This is for educational information, and you should always check with your healthcare provider. Okay, so let me say that. I said it. Okay, so you guys heard me say that. Okay. I tell my patients, I teach them how to adjust their medication based on what they are doing. Because remember, medication is a tool. And for those of you who are on, and let's start with oral, so medication that you take by mouth first. Medication that we take by mouth, there are certain medications that you can adjust. Right? Always checking with your family, with your healthcare provider. There are some medications that, you know, you're already on the maximum dose. For instance, and let's run through those really quickly. So Januvia, Tradjenta, right? We talk about those DPP4s, right? Onglyza, Nesina. All those medications, usually you're on the maximum dose, right? So if you're on 100 milligrams of Januvia, if you're on 5 milligrams of Tradjenta and Onglyza, and I think Nesina comes in 10 milligrams, 5 or 10 milligrams, whatever the milligram of that one is. Usually you're on a maximum dose. And if you're on a lower dose, for example, Januvia, if you're on a lower dose, it's probably because of your renal function and so forth, right? So those medications you can't necessarily adjust. Tradjenta, you just have the 5 milligrams, so you can't adjust that. If you're in one of the combination drugs, right, like Trijardi, Janumet, Synjardy, Glixambi, usually you can't adjust those either. Jardiance, there are 2 doses, 10 or 25. Farxiga, right, 10 milligrams. Invokana comes in a couple of milligrams, milligram doses, right? And usually those you don't adjust either. But your glipizide, glimepiride, glyburide, those you can. I tell my folks that we can adjust because you can go up on the dose. For example, let's pick one. So glipizide, for example, you can be up on as much as 20 milligrams, 40 milligrams. So if you're on a 5 milligram tablet, right, there's a big way to go. So I tell my patients, hey, this is what I want you to do. If you normally take 1 tablet, then on Thanksgiving, take 2, because we know that we're going to eat more, right? So we're anticipating. And if you are anticipating and you get there and you see that it's even higher, right, with your healthcare provider, you guys talk about, what do I do? The injectables, and we talked about that. These are the GLPs, right? These are the non-insulin injectables. For most of them, you have multiple doses, unless you're already on the high dose. For example, Celequa, right, which is a combination of a GLP and insulin. Celequa, the maximum dose is 60. So if you're on a 20, 30, 40, 50, there's room to go. For Ozempic, right? Every time you click that, every time you click that pen, it's another dose. So if the maximum, the high dose that they have now is a 2 milligram, right? So if you're on a 0.5 or a 1 or 1.5, right, you still got places to go up and down. For our Trulicity, right? Trulicity has multiple doses. So 0.75, 1.5, there's a 3, and a half, I believe, and a 4, right? So multiple doses there. What else did I say? So that's the GLPs. Victoza, right? Victoza, there are multiple doses as well. So talk to your folks about that. And then, so those are the pills. Those are the non-insulin injectables. And this show is coming because it's special, but we're going to come back and we're going to talk about insulin, right? Remember, that's the next group that we've got to talk about in our treatment plan. So insulin has an unlimited ability to be adjusted. Let me say that again. An unlimited ability to be adjusted. So with your healthcare provider, right, talk to them and it's tomorrow already and, everybody's off doing their thing. But we teach our patients, I teach my patients how to adjust their insulin based on what's going on in their life. So if the blood, if you go home, for example, let me give you an example. Let me say this. If you go home and let's assume for your insulin that I have told you to take 10 units with each meal, right? Which is typical, 10 units with each meal. So breakfast, you take 10. Lunch, you take 10. Supper, you take 10. If you go home and you take 10 and you never adjust that dose, regardless of what's going on, then that's probably not the right thing to do. I know. Yeah, but that's what was prescribed. Yes, it was. But guess what? If you go home and you don't eat and you're exercising and you take 10, the likelihood that your blood sugar drops is high. Right. So notice there's not anything bad going on. It's just that you have changed what you do. And so the amount that you take should change. The same in the opposite direction. If you normally you take 10 and on Thanksgiving, you're eating 3 or 4 times more than you normally eat, 10 may not be sufficient for you. All right. So just remember that. So for diabetes, you're in charge, not the diabetes. Treat what you eat. And then your toolbox will work for you if you work it. Your toolbox will work for you if you work it. Okay? Let me back up for a minute here. And this is a good place to talk about this as well. So we talked about eating more protein and fiber. Protein and fiber are 2 nutrients that can help you control your appetite. Protein helps to keep you feeling full, and the fiber helps to slow down the digestion so you don't get hungry quickly. And it also helps to blunt the rise in blood sugar. Right? So lots of ways that those things help. See what else? I think that's it. So I'm anticipating. I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving. I'm looking forward to some food. Yes, I like food. Hopefully you like food too, right? Well, good. All right. Well, this is a good place for us to hop over to our amazing question wheel. So let's go ahead and get that on the screen. And here we go. All right. So if you've been here with us, you know our amazing question wheel, what it is. We got some questions on the screen. If you've not been with us, let me explain. So on the screen, you'll see the wheel with the question. I'm going to spin it, and it's going to land on a question. Whatever question it lands on, I'm going to answer. Yeah, I'm going to answer that question. And here are the rules for my answer. It has to be a real answer. It has to be concise. It has to be usable. It has to be practical. And I have to give the answer in 45 seconds. Well, not to start giving the answer, but within 45 seconds, I have to explain what the answer is. Okay? Then I'm going to take that answer, I'm going to clip it out of the show. I'm going to create a little video. I'm going to post it on our social media platforms. And let me pop that up so you can see right there below my name. You'll see Dwayne Wood MD. Dwayne Wood MD is where it is. You'll find that. Go out. I want you to go out and find it on all the social media platforms. And when you find it in the comments, I want you to type hashtag I was there. Hashtag I was there. Let me pop that up. Let me write that in here so you guys see what that looks like. So hashtag I was there. So hashtag I was there. I think I spelled that right. There we go. Boom. And then let's put it up on the screen. Hashtag I was there. Okay. All right. So let's get back to our question wheel. Oops. I put the 45 seconds already. All right. So let's see. Let's spin. And then let's see where we go. All right. Here we go. Round and round it goes. Where it stops, I don't know. I gotta keep going saying that, right? Why is it so important to monitor my blood sugar? Why is it so important to monitor my blood sugar? All right, let's see. Why is it so important to monitor my blood sugar? All right, let me get my thoughts together. And then let's get 45 seconds on the screen. Here we go. Why is it so important to monitor my blood sugar? There is no magic in monitoring blood sugar. Monitoring the blood sugar does not change what the sugar is. But monitoring the blood sugar makes you aware. It's kind of like driving down the highway. You're doing the speed limit. You're not bumping into anybody. If a state trooper pulls in behind you, guess what you do? You look down, right? Why? Because it focuses you. And monitoring blood sugar helps you to focus on what you're doing. What should I eat? Should I exercise? Should I eat that? That's the beauty of it. All right. I think I had that. Let's. Oh. Yeah. All right. I think I still had what? Maybe another 10 seconds. There was, and you could tell I was tempted to say more, right? But I knew that the time was going. So. All right, so hopefully that's a usable answer for you. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, the holidays can be a difficult time. It can be a challenging time for lots of reasons. But particularly when you have diabetes, it can be anxiety provoking. And sometimes people don't engage in the holidays because they are anxious, they're nervous about how to navigate Thanksgiving, how to navigate the food that they see during Christmas and New Year's and all those holiday times. But this goes for any type of function that you're going to. The first thing to remember is that you don't have to be afraid of it. You're in charge of your diabetes. You're telling the diabetes what to do. You're allowed to enjoy what's there. And you have choices on what to do when you're there. You have choices on how to prepare to get there. So take a snack, eat something light. When you get there, make sure you have some protein, some fiber on your plate. Make sure you're enjoying the function, remembering why you're there. If it's a wedding, if it's a birthday, if it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, remember the reason for being there. How do I enhance the relationships that brought me there? What are the things that I'm grateful for? I'm thankful for? Who can I connect with? Who can I reconnect with? Who can I develop a deeper relationship with? So that you're not just focusing on the food. And then your toolbox will work if you work it. Treat what you eat. Exercise, water, portion control, and then medication. I wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I wish you a happy holidays. I am excited that you're here. If you've not already done so, if you like this video, if you're getting benefit from this and the other videos that we're doing, go ahead and give a thumbs up. Share this with a family member. Share this with a friend, someone that you think needs it. If you haven't done so, go ahead and go back and watch all of the the videos that we've done on our social media platforms. Please do that, okay? And If you've not already done so, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to this show. Create an account if you don't have one. Log in, hit subscribe, and hit the bell so that you'll be notified when new things come up, right? And then come on back and watch the rest of the show, because we've still got, today's the 23rd. This show is a 23rd show. On the 23rd. I'll be back on Thanksgiving, right? At some point, either in the morning or evening, to give another thought. But come on back and watch the other things that we've done. If you haven't seen on our social media platforms yet, you will go out. You can check this out, and it will be in our show notes. I've got a little book that I've produced on the 7 keys to success. The 7 keys to success. What do the people who are successful do to create the life they want? It's a free resource. And you can go into our show notes, and it's there. Go ahead and download it, begin reading it. Let us know your thoughts as you're going through. Let us know what you think. Let us know how you're applying the things that we're talking about. Okay, I would love to hear from you. Go ahead and put that in the comments, in the chat. You can DM me. You can send me information on all of my social media platforms. They're all Dwayne Wood MD. Dwayne Wood MD. On Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. Did I get all of them? And then, of course, here on this channel. All right. Well, thank you for being here, and we will see you at the next episode of our Diabetes 101 month. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Enjoy all the stuff. And then I want to hear from you what you ate. Okay. Put those in the comments as well. Good night, everybody.